Yeah, I think I think the play is all about choices, isn't it? It's really about they all have turning points. I don't think that Macbeth believes he does. I think for me, he sees himself as a slave to his own fate. That everything bad that happens to him is because of some predestined thing, and everything he does is to like break out of that. But ultimately, it just ends up making it happen anyway. Do you know what I
I
mean?
suppose it
Like,
also depends on like how much you believe in prophecies
yeah,
and whether you have faith in them and whether you have faith in fate. Because if you don't, then I guess you are a believer of free will.
yeah,
And if, right? Is it that's the way around that it works?
yeah.
But like I like to think that everyone has free will and everyone has agency over their own choices, because at the end of the day, Macbeth holds the knife.
Yeah.
And the prophecy never told him to kill the king. The prophecy
Yeah.
simply said, you will be king.
And how he does that is up to him, really.
And yeah, all the conclusions
Yeah.
he comes to
to
himself with the help of Lady Macbeth. But I think when you take away free will and you make it all about fate and about extrinsic forces,
And like the supernatural being the main pull.
yeah, then I think it takes away from the cruelty of his actions.
I understand why people want to put it that he's a prisoner of his own fate, because it makes him more sympathetic. But I think he believes that he is. I think for me, how I justify his actions as Macbeth, I think he fundamentally believes he has no choice but to take these steps if he wants to escape that inevitable end that's waiting for him.
I think so.
But everything he does, like for example, the killing of the Macduff family is the reason that Macduff goes against him. Had he left Macduff's family alone, there's a very good chance it never would have come about.
And you can argue it both ways, because some will say that like that is an inevitable consequence of everything that came before, and some will argue that he didn't have to do that, and that was just his paranoia. But
what's the if chance will have me king bit is because we've debated this a lot in schools as well, with the if chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my star is, would it have crowned him without his star? Would he have never?
We love debating that with the kids.
Yeah, like would Malcolm and Duncan have fallen down a flight of stairs eventually?
Of course.
I think after he kills Duncan, he could have turned it. There is a turning point there. He could have turned that around, because he's taken. But so many rulers throughout history take power through violent means. Doesn't necessarily mean the rest of their reign was a bloodbath.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's Macbeth's paranoia that drives him forward, because that's her point. Lady Macbeth's point of like, this is done now, is after Duncan's death.
Yep, she's happy to stop there.
Yeah.
Clean break. Yeah, but then there is a part of me that thinks that like killing Duncan is the point of no return. He feels guilty immediately after that.
Yeah, no, I think it is very much Duncan's murder. It's a shaky line, but I think it's Banquo's death that is the point of no return, because that's when he properly loses his mind.
Yeah.
I think his conflict is what drives him mad. It's the conflict between his own choices and his belief that he is the slave to fate and he has to break free of it is the thing that drives him round the bend. He can't get past it. It's this round.
I'm still thinking about that. If you're mad, do you have free will? I don't know. Yeah. No. Yes. No.
I think it's what is it that drives him mad is his own guilt, and he's very aware that it's his own guilt. He's very conscious of the things that he's done, at least up until the Macduff's murder. Up to the point that when he murders the Macduff family, he's given up on the idea of consequences or guilt at that point. But up to that
point... And it's just before he murders Macduff. Well, it's just before the second lot of prophecies that he says, should I wade no further?
Returning I am in blood steeped so far, should I wade no more, returning where as tedious as gore. At that point, he's given up on consequences.
So that feels like that's him acknowledging that it's a point of no return. Yeah, but I think that has actually happened much earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, he's acknowledged that there's no way back now. He's got to just keep on powering through until he wins.
Fulfilled.
I mean, I think the prophecy is still to be finished, because the end of the prophecy is Fleance. Macbeth is just Macbeth isn't really the focus of the witches at the end. He's just a pawn. That's the thing. He is a pawn of fate. Fleance is the main end game. Eventually, it's
Then
play
if
on
he's a
speed.
pawn of fate, then where's his free
But
will?
that's the thing. He orchestrates, because I think they pick him. I think they pick him because he is very vulnerable and very easily
led.
Well, they put the idea in his mind and he takes it from there. I think they found somebody that's just powerful enough, just strong enough, and just malleable enough, and just weak of mind enough. And he's just gone through this tragedy they both have with the child, where he's just vulnerable enough that they put this little idea in his head. He'll go crazy with it, and he'll take it to the next level.
And there's a certain artistry in the fact that he's beheaded, just like he beheads Donald at the beginning. So it is cyclical in that sense. So you end where you began.
It depends on what you think the witch's endgame is, isn't it? With regards to the prophecy, what are they actually trying to get out of that is really where...
I never really think too much about what the witches want. It doesn't bother me that I don't know what the witches want.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, the witches be witches.
Witches be witches.
Right? They just want to stir some stuff.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They want to see a bit of chaos. So I don't really mind not knowing what it is that they're after, what their end game is. They're just there to stir the pot, you know?
Okay, yeah.